talking about the Dunamis 5 were just been released just yesterday by the DSS. And you know that there were 5%, and I have a special guest, the person among them who is a special person. You know, the way we describe special persons. You must have been hearing that there was a visually impaired personality, and activist among those who were abducted or arrested, if you like, by the DSS on order of Pastor Paul Enenche of the Dunamis Church in Abuja. And we just want to hear from the horse's mouth. Now, he's out. Samuel is out. He's a visually impaired person, and we want to hear from him exactly what actually transpired. Let's learn. Let's understand the story together. You're welcome, Samuel. How are you today?
A little bit better than you.
I need you to be
Uh,
more audible, please.
yeah, I say I'm actually a little bit better than the way I've been in the past month.
Okay, quickly, just
Still
take
having,
us. Yes, could you quickly just take us through the story? What exactly happened? Just tell us what happened. Don't mix anything up.
you know,
Let's go.
okay, I and my friend, we decided to go to Dynamic Church to worship. You know, two of my friends, okay, I and my friends, so can you hear me now? Yeah, I and my friends decided to go to Dynamic Church for Thanksgiving, for the fact that two of my friends, Victor Anene and Emmanuel Larry, were incarcerated by the Kogi government, for 78 days. We just want to thank God for the fact that they've actually been released and they are alive and very healthy. So, we actually went in our numbers to celebrate the life of God in the life of the two persons aforementioned. So we went to the church with where must go t-shirt. It's our grievance, it's our prayer point. It's actually what we want God to answer, at least for the fact we are thanking God that my two friends were uh, brought back to out of the prison, safe and sound. We also have our prayers for the fact that this impunity, this travesty called government to actually be booted out of the hinges of the corridors of power, you know. So we went where the t-shirt Buhari must go, participated in the service, no acts of civil disobedience, no acts of disruption. When it was time for first timers, we stood up, we went to where the first timers were, and the pastor in charge of the first timers spoke with us. You know, he actually empathized with us, our pains, our grievances. He knew what was doing was actually for the right cause, so he said. So he advised us to go as peacefully as possible because knowing how Gestapo this country is, they are kidnapped or adopted by the tyranny, the fascists, and the feudal lords, of the government. So he advised us to go safely and as peaceful as possible, which we actually did. When we were actually at express about boarding the taxi to our different destinations, that's when some hoodlums, some thugs, some rascals, all in the name of the church security, came, attacked us, rough handled us. Never in my life have I been held by the belt before. Both as the sighted person and as a blind person, I've never been held by the belt. And for the fact that I was being dragged on the rough soil, it's actually by the walkway on the express. there was a saxophone on my neck, which was actually jingling. I was being dragged forcefully, and the saxophone was actually weighing me down. So at that point, I resisted the maltreatment, the molestation from the security, the church security. At the point of resistance, my other fellow comrades, my friend, my brother in the struggle, actually pacified me, told me to follow, just, follow them. They took us to their security post. They tortured us, beat us, me especially, I was being kicked, or let me say, I was I was being pushed down, so I was being marched, stepped on, if not for the fact that, or for the grace of God, as you have been talking about crack skull now, but I was being kicked, beaten, slapped and everything. As I'm talking to you, the left hand side of my chest, I've been having severe pains, as a result of that incident. With fury, with anger, I was like, if they want to kill me, they should kill me. But once again, I was being pacified again, being asked to be like to calm down by my brothers. We were being asked to sit on the floor, which I actually vehemently refused. The church that is meant to be a house of truth, house of justice, is not actually meant to be an appendage of oppression. So I couldn't fathom it, I couldn't imagine it, or neither do I comprehend it. So I think there was an elderly man who actually tried to calm things down. I don't know his name, but he wasn't happy with the way my reaction towards their actions towards me. So, but he actually wanted things to be peaceful, but I don't know. All of a sudden, somebody in the name of a senior pastor, came, started dishing out some slaps, to us. Believe me, at that moment, I actually thought I was actually regaining my miracle. For me, I saw 7 stars with those slaps. To be sincere with you, I felt very humiliated. I felt very, very humiliated that day. The pastor actually came. So he said, he came from the order of Pastor for Enenche, who are actually saying he was very fully aware of what was happening at that point in time, because the instruction was actually to remand us, to a place of no return. That's the DSS. The police were actually there, but I don't know what actually happened that they didn't arrest us. But one of the directors, which we spotted, was there. So the church called the DSS on us. First day, we are emotionally tortured. We were asked to sit on the floor. They put our trousers in the DSS custody. Before I actually proceed, they connected our phones. Before the snap, they connected our phones, asked us to off and listen all the live streams, they seized our phones. Even I was actually being called by somebody who invited me to such administration, but I wasn't allowed to pick the call. I wasn't allowed to pick the call that day.
Let me just get something quickly clear. You were invited by somebody who is a member of the church.
The Dunamis Church?
Yes.
Yeah, one of us.
Okay, one of you is a member of the Dunamis Church. Okay, one of you is a member of the church.
Yes.
And suggested that you all should go to church and pray.
To thank God,
to thank God,
for the gift of life,
to worship with the church.
Our friends, our comrades. Okay. Yeah, for some Thanksgiving,
Okay, for
the sake of our 2 brothers, the Kogitu.
Let me ask quickly here so that we can get this thing straight. While they were beating arresting and doing all that, were those
Yes, sir.
security men aware of your own, at least, special condition?
Sir, they were definitely aware. Apart from the fact that at the point of me being manhandled before they took us, you know, to the security post, people were actually telling them that I cannot see, I cannot see. I was even trying to be a little bit reasonable with the man that he shouldn't drag me before I actually lost my cool and tried resisting him. So they actually are very, 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 very aware. I can say this with all matter of authority that they were very aware. I can't see. And even at that, as well.
Okay, let's go into what happened to you at the DSS facility. What was
Okay.
every day like? What was it like?
Ah, they use the act of soft incapacitation. They try manipulating our minds, try guilt tripping us that we drag the church into what we don't know at that point in time because we are left incommunicado. So, but to our own defense, we are like, it's not we that drag the church. It's the church that dragged us to the DSS custody. Despite the fact we were physically beating up, and turning into provocation, we refuse to eat their food because it's actually in a debilitating and a devastating, appalling state, for several days. At the point in time, it was actually 7 days, at the stretch. For several days, it was maybe a day interval. Sometimes you might just manage the little thing called bread, and there was one poison, the soup, one like a condensed engine oil, So sometimes the fish, actually, you can't actually see it. You have to use the electron microscope to view the fish. In fact, when you're eating the fish or the meat, you are using your imagination to see it. The beans, is like a 20 naira beans, 5,000 naira water, no pepper, tasteless as well. So, we actually held a communicado against our will. We had no information of what is actually going on in the outside world. And we met several inmates whose family did not know that they are being kidnapped. I can say this with all matter of authority, that their family did not know that they are actually in DSS custody. We're talking about 3 months, 5 months, and they've actually not been given the privilege to speak with their family, neither the lawyer. The condition is actually devastating. The first cell we were remanded to, the only demarcation the toilet has with the room is just a piece of cloth, and the toilet is actually a pit toilet, and the smell that emanates from the pit toilet. Not talk about the mosquitoes that actually were our companions at night. Sir, we're actually in a state of anomaly. It was actually a sardonic and lugubrious state,
Okay, I have more questions
Mazin,
for you. I actually have more questions for you, but there are comments saying that the audio is not too cool, and I want us to enjoy the
okay, let me off my headset. Let me off my headset. Let me off my headset first. Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's louder.
Huh?
Yes, louder now.
Okay. So, okay, it's louder.
Yes, so I think it's more audible now.
Okay.
So
Yes.
actually, that state, where the DSS custody was actually a lugubrious state. Even Mazi himself is not actually free from that sorry state. At the point in time, we are actually remanded in the same building facility. But for the fact that they noticed our communication and they noticed that our spirit went wavering, they transferred us to another, you know, place called the Old Echo Hall. From the new Echo Hall to the Old Echo Hall. You know, despite the fact they tortured us, our spirit didn't waver. Instead, we were actually still resolved. Our resolve was actually stronger in the DSS custody.
Okay, let me
You
ask you
know,
just one thing here now. If there was anything,
yeah.
if there was anything learnable, because part of the reason they say they get people arrested and tucked into the DSS facility or prison or cell is to make sure that people's spirits are broken, weakened, and to teach them a lesson. And you're
To
back
teach,
to teach people a lesson. Okay, now you are back. We would like to know what lesson you learned.
sir,
Were you taught a lesson?
we are not being taught a lesson, except maybe if the lesson is actually to become an animal. Believe me, you sir, the environment, is not actually conducive. Let me actually equate the DSS custody to the H unit in Colorado in the US. In fact, the DSS is 10 times worse than the H unit. At least the H unit, you can be able to communicate with the outside world twice a year. But this one, you are not even allowed to go outside, to even receive the early morning sun. If you are actually not strong, like you're not condition yourself to be strong, believe me, you might have some suicidal tendencies.
And yeah, that is they probably wanted you to learn how to keep quiet once you get out. They wanted you to be more quiet, they wanted you to observe more decorum and all that. At least did you learn that now that you're out? Would you
Decorum.
would you learn to be more to behave yourself more? Would you learn not to go to
Um,
that kind of place and
so
wear that kind of shirt again? I mean, the reason they arrested you was because you were wearing a Buhari must go t-shirt.
okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
probably what they
yes, I
want.
will not go to the church to where Brian must go. Again, yes, definitely. I might not wear Brian must go to the church. I will actually wear it to the Aso Rock or even the DSS facility. You know, believe me, my resolve is very strong to the point that anytime my voice is not being heard, you know, just have it in mind that I've been kidnapped again by the DSS. You know.
Wow. So what you're simply trying to say here is that you are not yet changed. There's no change of behavior that they wanted to achieve
I've
that
been
you're not yet.
hardened. I've been hardened. Believe me, even with the cellmates, I will actually not mention some of the things they have actually been charged for because they are actually very severe. At least you know what I mean. It's actually a security concern.
Absolutely.
You know, people that actually tend to be the hardened criminals, they actually left us with them when we are being transferred from the new echo to the old echo. So I want to mention, the thing that was being alleged of them. So imagine being with those kind of persons. So you think what will actually result will be weakened? I doubt. And that's what they've actually successfully made me, be, hardened.
So
You
you are
know,
simply confirming to us that you went to DSS detention only to come back more hardened.
sir, the protest actually took place in the DSS, despite the torture you know, the chains, the fetters of iron which they banded us to, you know, in some occasions they lock us on the AC from the outside, subject us to cold, or if they not on the AC, you know, the mosquito, they lock us, you know, the mosquito, you know, or they actually try to emotionally blackmail us, humiliate us. Let me even give an instance of yesterday at the time, yesterday morning. You know, it was in the night we were actually released. You know, one of them was like, "We are useless. The online 20,000 naira bill, nobody came to stand for us in Shorty. And Shorty, we are useless. You know, we are hopeless. This is that, this that, this that, that." Started flogging us, started touching us. You know, he actually almost tortured me, but you know what he said? He said, "I'm having my natural punishment, which is my blindness. So he will not torture me." You know, he said all sort of demeaning words, you know.
So what you're simply
All
confirming
sort
here
of,
is that he knew that you had been granted bail by the courts, but they wanted to
he
do the
knew.
last torture before you go, right?
Yes. And sir, there are actually several marks to show as evidence, you know, to actually buttress what I'm saying.
Like somebody
You know,
tortured you in spite of your condition.
no, I wasn't physically tortured that much, but that day I was more emotionally tortured than physically tortured.
By who?
You know, the man said he's not going to physically torture me because I'm having my own natural punishment, which is my blindness. You know, sir, is it my fault for being blind? It's not because of the sorry state, the anomalous state of the hospital, the medical situation, the facilities in this country. That's why I'm blind. And we are complaining about it. We are still being arrested. We are still being tortured because we are speaking the truth, the obvious, which they actually know. They couldn't argue with us. To be sincere with you, they couldn't argue with us.
But there are two things here now. You know, first it was the church before the DSS took over.
Yeah,
Now
the
you're a
church that is
Christian.
an appendage, an extension to oppression.
Well, I know that you are a Christian, and I know that you play saxophone in churches. I mean,
Yes, I
DSS.
do.
Yes, we know that the government runs the DSS, and it's normal that we know that the government somehow controls the DSS to torture perceived political opponents. You know, would you be more disappointed about DSS or the church that you play saxophone for?
No, to be very sincere, my height of anger was actually at that church when we were being taught because I didn't expect such to actually happen in a place where it's meant to be a house of justice, house of equity, house of truth, you know, house of liberation, you know, house where one can actually express your grievances and it to be heard both physically by the pastors or spiritually by God. You
But I
know,
also
I was
would
actually more disappointed. And to be very candid with you, my saxophone didn't follow us to the DSS facility, still within the church custody.
no, sorry. Are
You
you
know,
saying that the church didn't give you the church did not hand your
they didn't give
saxophone
me my
over to you?
saxophone.
But
You
did
know,
they
my
give it to
only
the
means of
DSS?
livelihood. You
Did they
know,
give it to the
my only means of
DSS?
livelihood. Sir?
Did they hand it over to the DSS? Did the church hand
No,
it
they
over?
didn't. It's still with them. It's still with them.
So the church even took your
Everything
saxophone.
that was handed to the DSS was being given to us. You know, from my phones to my wallet, my inhaler, everything intact. But my saxophone wasn't handed to the DSS.
So that means the church took your
So
own saxophone and
my
kept it in their
saxophone,
own
my means
church.
of life, you know,
So
and it's
your
my only
saxophone is
saxophone at
at
the
D.
moment.
So your
You know,
saxophone
they
is at
stripped me
Dunamis
off.
Church. Your saxophone, as we speak now, is at Dunamis Church.
Sir?
Your saxophone is still at
Yes,
Dunamis
sir.
Church as we speak.
In a dynamic church, I can say it without matter of authority. You know, my means of livelihood, you know, now that I'm out, even still trying to, you know, see if I can actually pick up, you know, what is left of me, you know, the saxophone. I actually went this thing, you know, much ado in getting that saxophone. You know, there are many grinds which I actually went through before getting that
You went
saxophone.
extra miles before you could buy the saxophone.
That, yes, sir.
I understand. Okay, so we have to
So,
go to
and it's
Dunamis
still within
Church
a
and
custody.
so we have to go to Dunamis Church and recover your saxophone. Very
Sir,
important.
um, actually, if we went, you know, without confrontation and we receive that treatment, imagine if we want to go confronting them of what belongs to me. Imagine what will happen to me.
No, at this point, they can't do anything anymore. I'm very sure about that because,
Um,
I mean, you already conquered them. I can guarantee you that you already conquered the dunamis. You already conquered the church. You already conquer the pastor, and you already conquered the DSS. I can assure you that they will definitely they have no option than to record. I mean, than to return your saxophone to you. But lastly, I mean, what is important again is that it was
so,
okay. Say what you have to say.
let me say this. Let me say this, sir. Before, one of the things that actually we experienced in DSS, you know, we were being charged on the 19th at a magistrate court in Pape. You know,
I'm aware.
secret trial. We weren't served. We weren't given access to our lawyers. On the 19th of July, we are being taken for a secret trial, you know, at the magistrate court in Pape. In fact, the magistrate court is so remote that the DSS the DSS people, officers, they didn't know the place. They didn't know the place. They were asking for directions to tell how remote that area is. You know,
That's
but
funny
yeah, you know,
because
the judge actually
because they were
had
busy because they were busy shopping for magistrate they can use anywhere just
yes, you know, phone shopping. You know, that's what it's being called.
to. Okay, that's a good one. We'll have to continue this at some other time, but it was I just wanted people to know. And then lastly, before you go, people said the pastor probably didn't know about your arrest, that it was only the DSS
Uh,
that did what happened, you know.
uh,
So I just wanted you
somebody's voice who we heard
to know what you feel.
on the phone,
Say that
you know,
again.
giving this instruction is not aware. I laugh in Spanish. To be same with you, I laugh in Spanish.
No, I need you to really say that again because I didn't hear you well.
I said somebody whose voices we are hearing, you know, blazing thunder and lightning on the phone, you know, of the pastor that was being sent, you know, to dish out snaps on us, is not aware.
Okay.
I'm actually sure of what.
I know you play saxophone from church to church, and then
Yeah.
I want to see you play saxophone at Dunamis Church, maybe by way of consolidating your salvation. Why are you laughing? No, for me, I want to see a situation where, upon recovering your saxophone from the church that was stolen, sorry, seized by the church, upon recovering it, you play it before you leave. Like, let the church even entertain you. Let them even invite you as a special guest to come and play saxophone in the church before you take it away from the church. How would that look
Ah,
like? How would that feel?
sir, I actually will not do that, sir. To be very sincere, at whatever cost, I won't do that because actually the church has proven itself to be an appendage to oppression. You know, to be a house of oppression. I'm actually saying this not to spite the church. I don't have any interest in dragging the church down because I won't gain anything. But I'll actually say the truth that I see and I observe. I will never be at such place, rendering a ministration, or a performance, as the case may be.
You're sounding like you are so disappointed in the church or in Pastor
I'm
Enenche
highly
or the
disappointment is
leadership.
actually an understatement. It's actually an understatement. Because couple of I listened to this man's teaching. I received several invites to attend the church for their Tuesday miracle service for my side. I listened to his teachings. I listened to the fact that he speaks against, the ills of this government. So is that a next service or trying to be politically correct? Is well. Is
I know
well.
you're. Sorry, I understand you're heartbroken right now, so I'll let you go for today, and then I'm sure another time I'll be able to bring you back, and then we talk about more extensive topics. It's been a nice time, but I'm happy to see you fine again after
Yeah.
30 days. Uh, I mean, how do I describe that place? Excursion.
Yeah, a government sponsored vacation. They will always ask to sponsor such vacations for us. If they don't listen to the plight of the masses, if they don't do what is right according to the masses, you know, I see them as my servants. Because I pay them, I pay my tax. I don't evade tax. In fact, maybe our next discussion, I will actually show you my tax returns. I pay my tax, I pay them. They're actually meant to work for me. Anything I'm doing, they're not doing me a favor. They're actually doing it because they are meant to do it. You know.
Okay, like I promised, I'm going to make sure that I host you on other topics. I don't just want this particular broadcast to be too long. There are so many topics to talk about, but I just wanted this one to be limited to the Dunamis Church, DSS, and your experience. And then I'll let you go now so that you can rest. I know I've taken so much of your time. It's past 9 already, 10 minutes past. I'll let you go rest and then I'll take you another time. Samuel, it's been a
Yeah.
nice time with
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for the privilege. In allowing me to express my grievances and my own side of the story.
All right, that's it from Samuel. What we must always do constantly is to check facts. Well, Samuel has confirmed that the pastor knew about their arrest and it wasn't just anything too sudden, and that it wasn't also coincidental, it was planned by the church. Like they had a DSS director planted inside the church for looking out for people like that. And then what was even more surprising, in fact, the reason I picked interest in this was that I have seen politicians go to Pastor Enenche's church and the pastor even gives them altar to talk. I mean, if you want to see pictures, we can start. Just comment that you want to see pictures and I will start showing you from tomorrow, even from tonight before I go to bed. We have seen it that pastor gives the pulpits for politicians to come. And then you now see the oppressed masses coming with their prayer points inscribed on their shirts. And the next instinct is to get them arrested by the DSS. And with you loudly screaming that torture them and jail them. And the question that crossed my heart was, would Jesus do this? If these are Christians, you're supposed to be Christ-like. Otherwise, you're doing something different entirely. Now, if you're Christians, would Jesus do this? If the answer is no, I mean, I just want to hear from people because I don't know what else to say. I mean, the church in Nigeria is getting it all differently. Or maybe there's a different template for church in Nigeria, or churches in Nigeria, or churching in Nigeria. But Pastor Enenche, this is actually, according to many comments I've read, and according to the situation analysis and hearing from so many people as well, I can tell you that this is beneath the belt. And the entire Christian Association of Nigeria, the entire Christians in Nigeria need to begin to review the way they handle matters. I mean, I don't expect that the church and the oppressive security agencies are together in connivance against oppressed people. It's actually, I'm a Christian, but this is actually more disappointing. I've told you my experience before. That is it from Samuel. We'll continue to host more people to talk about their experiences. And I mean, maybe it's time for church season or season church, as you may like it. Let me put you on this. Okay, let me not do this other one. Let me do Vagabonds in Power by Larry Safari. I'll see you another time. Bye.
But if you talk, you go die. If you no talk, you go die. I'd rather talk. Anytime I talk, then they try to stop me. Arrest me, they want me. Whatever that you send, them no send, they go stop you. Arrest you or kill you. But if they kill the messenger, they no go fit kill the message. My people just they suffer, suffering and smiling. Hey, vagabonds in power. They want me, they want you. Government in power. It don't tell them they play also. The vagabonds in power.